Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter, in this week for Emily Matson. We begin with the very latest on the war in Ukraine. 2 weeks into Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there's still no end in sight. Overnight into Thursday, a maternity hospital in the besieged port city of Mariupol became the latest civilian target hit by the Russian forces.
A strike on a maternity hospital is a final proof. A proof of genocide of Ukrainians is taking place.
Soldiers and rescue workers rushed to transport pregnant women away from the devastation. The White House is now warning that the Kremlin might be planning to use biological or chemical warfare to create a false flag operation to then blame on Ukraine and the U.S. This all comes as Russia struggles to make ground. A U.S. official estimates 5,000 to 6,000 Russian soldiers may have died in the first 2 weeks of battle, though cautioned those numbers are very difficult to truly assess. Vice President Kamala Harris landed in Poland last night. Thursday, she'll be meeting with the Polish president and Canadian Prime Minister to discuss providing aid to Ukraine and supporting these refugees. As millions of Ukrainians are fleeing their homes, going to neighboring countries like Poland, Romania, some are making it as far as Germany. And we caught up with one Ukrainian woman who's living in Germany and doing what she can to help the situation. 32-year-old Anastasia Sazunchuk has been living and working in Germany for 13 years now. Her parents are still in the western part of Ukraine. She talks with them daily, but says they too are scared to leave their home at this point. In the meantime, she's doing what she can to help refugees that are arriving in Germany.
So on the weekend, I actually spend my whole time at the railway station because most of the refugees, they are coming to railway station. We are staying there and helping them. We are saying them what they have to do now in the next few days. We give them some food or something to drink.
Anastasia tells us she visited friends in the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv just a few weeks ago and can't believe the city looks how it does now. Meantime, some of America's most famous brands are pulling out of Russia now. McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Pepsi-Cola are all say that they will be boycotting the country for the invasion of Ukraine. The brands had drawn criticism for operating in Russia, while other companies announced suspensions. The companies join Starbucks, Netflix, Apple, and dozens of others that are boycotting Russia right now. Millions of dollars in support are pouring in from all over the world to help Ukraine amid the ongoing Russian invasion, and many are resorting to Airbnb and cryptocurrency to send some immediate help to Ukrainians. But the conflict also creates an opportunity for scammers to take advantage of your generosity. So as our USVI News' Emily Matson reports, the Better Business Bureau is now issuing a warning about charity scams.
The heartache of war in Ukraine has millions looking for ways to help, and the Better Business Bureau is urging you to stay vigilant.
Sadly, you see the flip side of humanitarianism, and those are the individuals that look at this particular type of situation and evaluate how can I take advantage of it.
The Better Business Bureau is issuing a warning for those looking to send aid abroad. Here are some tips from the BBB to avoid falling for a scam. Ask questions like, can the charity get to the impacted area? Is it experienced in providing emergency relief? And be on the lookout for red flags like exaggerated financial claims. Another red flag, fraudulent websites.
They'll set up a very similar sounding name to a charitable organization and change one letter or two, or transpose letters, or change the extension on a website.
Some people looking to help are getting creative and sending aid through crypto. The Ukrainian government has reportedly collected over $50 million in crypto assets. The BBB says make sure you have an understanding of blockchain and crypto before sending money.
We've received some reports through Scam Tracker regarding scams involving cryptocurrency, so it is out there.
Others are sending aid through Airbnb, booking stays in Ukraine with no intent to stay there. The BBB says make sure the stays you're booking are from legitimate local hosts by checking reviews and reading about the hosts. It's a unique way to directly help Ukrainians impacted by war get quick payouts in their desperate time of need. Emily Matson, USVI News.
And the BBB says that you can go to give.org to check out all of the supporting charities that are helping out Ukrainians right now. On St. Thomas on International Women's Day. An event called Perfectly Imperfect brought together women in the community and honored all women in the territory and highlighted the many women and their accomplishments, leadership, and service. VI Senate President Donna Fret Gregory hosted the event, and our USVI News' Ali Bornvanak was there.
Inspiration, encouragement, and celebration were all a part of the International Women's Day big event held right along the Charlotte-Amalie Harbor. How exciting is all of this?
It's exciting. It's exciting. When I walked in and I saw all the women coming down in their white tops, I was like, wow, this is an awesome event as we celebrate International Women's Day. Women are doing so much, and it's important that empowered women support empowered women.
The event was called Perfectly Imperfect, celebrating International Women's Day. It was hosted by the DFG Community Impact Foundation VI Inc. with Senator Donna Fret Gregory.
It's important for us to identify women in our community and support them. Women who are starting new businesses, women who are struggling. We have to support women. It's just part of what women should do. And this day is, of course, and the month is VI History Month, and we have so many women that we're celebrating this evening. I'm so excited. And there's women from all walks of life here this evening.
This is wonderful, and this backdrop, can we talk about this? This is absolutely beautiful. None other than the beautiful Charlotte-Amalie with the sunset behind us. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. And to be here with such powerful women that make up, that move and shake the Virgin Islands, just fantastic. I'm honored to be here today.
How important is it for women to uplift women?
It is so important. I feel like the world is against us, and if we don't lift each other up, if we don't know that we have each other's backs, then we're out here alone. So all women need to know we're here for all of them.
This event celebrating women encouragement has brought hundreds of people from the community together, from uplifting women to sharing encouragement to sharing our stories. This event, everybody coming together, has truly been spectacular, with many people already asking for this event to happen again.
We have to do this every year. So as the event gets bigger and bigger every year and we support women, it's important for us to identify women in our community and support them. Women who are starting new businesses, women who are struggling. We have to support women. It's just part of what women should do.
In St. Thomas, Ali Bornvanak, USVI News.
Thanks, Ali. And positive cases of COVID-19 remain pretty steady throughout the territory. According to the latest numbers from the VI Department of Health, there are 43 active cases territory-wide, with 26 on St. Croix, 15 on St. Thomas, and 2 active cases on St. John. Losing your sense of smell and taste are all symptoms of COVID-19, and some patients can still experience that problem months after the infection. Now, researchers in Philadelphia are testing a new way to restore those senses. Let's take a look.
Nancy D'Amato is finally able to enjoy eating again. She lost her ability to taste and smell after a bout with COVID-19 last February.
It was really, really jarring. I mean, I lost it instantaneously.
It's often one of the first symptoms of COVID that's usually temporary. But for some patients like Nancy, the inability to taste and smell again lasts and becomes a COVID long-haul symptom.
It was life-changing that I couldn't enjoy any food. I didn't want to eat. It was so depressing.
With limited treatment options, Nancy found an intriguing research project at Jefferson Health.
I really feel that it's helping me.
The Jefferson research is testing platelet-rich plasma, PRP, from the patient's own blood to restore smell. It's been used to heal injuries and regrow hair. Now, instead of injections, Dr. Rosen and his team are using a biodegradable sponge infused with PRP.
We put it up very high in the nose where all the smell fibers are located. Gets absorbed through the lining of the nose. It basically helps those cells that have been damaged by the COVID virus to start regenerating.
He says of the 9 COVID patients who've received PRP, 8 have responded.
I'm able to start to enjoy some flavors, food again.
After 5 treatments once a month, Nancy says her sense of smell and taste are slowly coming back. She's able to enjoy her perfume again and is back to wine tastings.
Venezuela released 2 jailed U.S. citizens in an apparent goodwill gesture toward the Biden administration. One of the freed prisoners was Gustavo Cardenas. He's among 6 oil executives arrested in 2017 and convicted on charges that the U.S. government says were fabricated. The other was a Cuban American detained on unrelated charges. The releases follow a high-profile visit by U.S. officials to Caracas on Saturday, the first since diplomatic relations between the two countries broke down in 2019. The Biden administration is seeking ways to stave off the impact of soaring U.S. gasoline prices, spurred by efforts by the West to punish Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. A look at your local forecast is straight ahead here on USVI News. Plus, concussions may lead to a higher risk of kids developing some mental health problems in the future. That's according to a new study when USVI News returns. Concussions may lead to a higher risk of kids developing mental health problems. According to a new study, Mandy Gaither has a look at the research and what parents need to know.
Concussions in kids' mental health. New research suggests a link between the two.
Some of the primary symptoms after a concussion can include things like changes in mood, anxious thoughts, changes in behavior, irritability, that sort of thing.
The Canadian study published in JAMA Network Open examined records over a 10-year period between 2010 and 2020 of kids between the ages of 5 and 18 who had a concussion or orthopedic injury. None had a mental health diagnosis before being hurt. Researchers found that concussed youth had a 40% increased risk of developing a mental health issue compared with children the same age and sex with an orthopedic injury. Those who had a concussion also had an increased risk of self-harming and undergoing psychiatric hospitalization compared to those with an orthopedic injury. Kelly McNally, co-director of the Complex Concussion Clinic at Nationwide Children's Hospital, says parents should be aware.
I think a primary thing for parents to do is just to keep that conversation rolling with their children. So if they have had an injury, ask them, how are they feeling? How are they doing emotionally? How are they coping?
If there are any red flags such as mood changes, being withdrawn, or your child isn't enjoying activities they once did, McNally says get help.
We don't want parents to be afraid for their children to play sports, but it does provide information to parents to help empower them to help get the right help for their children if they are seeing mental health symptoms after something like a concussion.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
In Major League Baseball's opening day is getting pushed back once again. The league has canceled more games to a stalled negotiation between owners and players. The new target date to play ball is April 14th. The owners first delayed the beginning of the regular season last week. Negotiations remain deadlocked over the league's competitive balance tax and minimum salaries.
One of the things that drove me was his passion to play the game of golf. I was never going to be denied to play. I loved it. I had this burning desire to be able to express myself in this game of golf.
Tiger Woods is now enshrined into the Golf Hall of Fame. Woods was introduced at the ceremony by his 14-year-old daughter, Sam. The event is one of the few public appearances he's made since suffering substantial injuries in a car crash in February of 2021. Still ahead on